first thing you have to kind of realize when you're getting into the perps, right? Um, just from a high level, right? And this actually gives us a lot of flexibility, but it's not quite like trading an actual token, right? You're not buying and selling the token, right? So you'll notice up top here, here's this SLP vault, right? This just stands for Sparkswap liquidity pool, right? But you'll notice it's all just SDI, right? So essentially what this is all of your trades are going to be backed by SDI, right? Um, and there's reasons behind this. One, because it's stable, right? We know that we can collateralize it with SDI, and it's always going to remain constant. It's not going to be it's not a volatile asset where we're going to potentially lose money, right? But also it gives us a lot of flexibility in the pairs that we can trade, right? So you'll notice here we have, for the beta version, we have BTC and ETH, right? Very soon we'll add PLS and Hex, and then from there, really anything we want we can add, which differs from like something like the GMX model, where you need to have the actual hard asset backed, right? So like if you wanted to trade BTC, right, there'd have to be enough BTC in the pool in order for you to open the trade against, right? Um, and what this does by having this more fluid SDI backing, again, not only is it more flexible, we can add as many pairs as we want, but also the open interest, which we'll get to in a minute. The open interest, essentially the amount of liquidity on each different pool, right? So assuming we had 400,000, well, I think about what the SLP's value is right now. In theory, you'd have to split that up between four different pairs, right? And then each of those you can only trade 25% on each one. Whereas with being a stable backing, it can be spread out depending on the volume or the usage of the community, right? So if someone wants to trade heavy on ETH one day, it's still the same pool that it's backing those trades. So that's kind of the high level overview, just when you're getting into it. But it also plays into kind of the next step, right? So, as you come here, you're going to see a couple different sections here, right? You'll have your chart, right? And again, if you switch between these markets, you'll find the different pairs, right? Down here, you'll find all your trades. Once we start making some trades, you'll see your active trades, your previous orders, your history, that kind of thing, right? And then over here is where, on this side here, is where you're going to actually make your trades, right? So remember I said that everything's back in SDI, right? So that's basically what you need to use in order to open a position, right? So, before you get here, you're going to have to go to Sparkswap here, buy yourself some SDI, and make sure you have some SDI in your wallet, right? And then, real simply, there's really only two ways to go, right? You're either betting that the market's going up, or you think the market's going to go down, right? So up is long, down is short, right? Pretty simple. Then the next kind of level down, you're going to see these couple different things: market, limit, stop. Again, 95% of you will probably just use the market orders, right? This just means you're gonna take the price, whatever the market's at right now, right? So, let's say I think Bitcoin's going to go up right now. The price is 770,314, right? And you'll see that down here, right? This is your execution price, right? And if I wanted to place this, I would just purchase this at the market price, right? If you want to, if you're maybe a more advanced trader, let's say you want to purchase this, you want to open this long position, not here, but maybe down here where there's support, right? So here's let's say at 69,800, right? You can open up a limit order, right? Limit long. So this means if I set my limit long down here at 69,800, let's say, you can just alter the price here, 69,800, right? And that'll open the position up for you if the market comes down to hit your bid, right? And you can play around with this. It works the opposite way on the shorts, right? So again, you can always just do a market order and you're essentially selling here at the market price. or you can set a limit order if you think it's maybe going to go up again to 70,900 here, and then it'll open that position short at the top right there. But for this example, let's just use the market order. We'll keep it simple, and I'll come back to the stop actually in a second. The stop is just some protection to get you out of the market. But to be quite honest, there's easier ways to do it once the trade's open, and even in the process of making the trade. So we'll just walk through some of these steps first. For the beta phase, there is a minimum order size of $500. This is for a number of reasons, right? We don't necessarily want big whales coming in and doing really low leverage to try to just kind of drain the market before we have more participants, which levels out the risk a little bit. But when I say 500 is the minimum open price, it's actually not quite as bad as you think, right? So let's say I have $10, right? This is my $10. My $10 in SDI I have queued up to buy. Now I won't be able to open this with $10, right? Actually, I can go along. I won't be able to open this with $10, but if I use $10 at 50 times leverage, right, that gives me my $500 to open a trade, right? Now you can always play with those numbers, right? Let's say you have 50, you want to put $50 of collateral up. That means you can go all the way down to 10x and still have that same 500 minimum, right? So let's say we're maybe in between somewhere here. Let's say we want to degen 30x levered at $20. Let's say, right? Now our only downside, right, is we're risking our $20, right? But what we're opening is this position that's worth $600 down here, right? So let's say I want to open this. I think the market's going to go up, right? So I'm opening a long at the market price. So I'm going to get this market price. Again, it's labeled down here, and again down here, this will be a kind of an overview of your whole order that you're placing. And you just kind of go through the steps. So again, I'm risking $20 on this trade at 30 times leverage, right? Which gets me my $600 of position size. Yeah. Again, this is going to be filled out for you. If it's a market trade, if it's a limit, you'll have to fill it out yourself, right? You can adjust the slippage, but it's usually not too bad. 1% is good default. And then here you can kind of set you can set your stop losses and take profit actually. So because I'm going long, right? So I'm saying at I'm gonna buy this right now at 70,300 ish, right? But let's say I don't want to lose my whole 20,000, right? So worst case scenario, if I go long right now, down here you'll see this liquidation price, right? So what this is saying is at 68,225, right? If it doesn't go up and it goes down instead, down here at 68,225, right there somewhere, that's the point at which my entire $20 is going to be gone, right? At that point, I've gone through my collateral, and you're liquidated, meaning you don't have any more funds, right? So essentially, what a stop loss is it just protects you from that downside risk, right? So let's say right here is a clear support line, right? So let's see here. So you can put a price in or just use the percentages, right? So let's say I want to go long, right? So I think it's going to go up this way, but I think if it goes past 69,400, let's say, right, I think it's just going to keep going down, and I'm going to lose all my money, right? So you set a stop loss just to protect yourself from further downside risk, right? If I'm right that it's going to go up, that's all the better. But if I'm wrong, I'm only going to lose a portion of my money, not the entire position, right? And lastly, all you want to do is set a take profit, right? So you can use these percentages at 50%, your 50% profit, 100%, right? You could set a certain price where you think, maybe at 73,000 here, it's going to hit resistance, and then it's going to come back down. So I want to take my profit there, right? And again, once you set all these numbers, again, it's really not. It sounds a little bit complex when you're going through it one by one, but realistically, just to decide how much money you want to spend, what your leverage is going to be like, potentially set a stop loss. You can always just default to none if you'd like, and then all you have to do is open the position up, submit the order just like you normally would. And we'll see if Pulse Gas is participating with us today. There we go. Went through. And in just a minute here, you should see your trade pop up down below. Okay, so as you can see, we opened up a long position, right, on BTC. Okay. And again, you can kind of click all these. These are all clickable items, right? This one in particular, I'll go over in a second, is helpful. But just to kind of go through it again, we opened up a long position on Bitcoin. We used 30 times leverage, right? With $19.03 collateral after our initial fees, right? Gives us our open price, gives us our current price, right? And then over here you'll see your basically up or down, right? Your net P&L. And then again here, this is maybe the most important one, is this is where you can adjust all of the functions from your stop loss and take profit, right? So if you wanted to, let's say you're already in profit, right? It's gone up to 72,000, right? But you don't want to lose money anymore. You can always adjust your stop losses, things like that. These are really cool features that you would find on a centralized exchange, but again, all fully decentralized. So you can make those adjustments by yourself on chain. And then the last thing here, again, so if you just left this position, right? Because we set stop losses and take profit, at some point this trade is just going to execute, right? You're either going to make money or at some point you'll get stopped out, right? However, if you do come back here and maybe you just had enough, you're up a little bit, you want to cash out, or you're losing, you don't want to be in the position anymore, you can always real quickly just come here, this little close button. This will go ahead and close the trade out for you at whatever the market price is. And once it's closed, you'll be able to come see it in your history tab here, right? So this is where you'll see all the previous trades that you made. You can keep track of them, right? And then this last tab here is for open orders, right? So again, this is if you wanted to do like a limit order, right? So let's go ahead and try to limit order so you guys can see that as well. So again, let's say we want to do $20 at what was my 30x leverage. That same trade, right? But let's say this time I do want to buy it down here. I want to buy it at 69,900, let's say, right? So we just adjust our price, 69. Oops, what happened to my cursor? 69,900, right? And again, we can set a stop loss at let's say 69 even, just to be safe. Oops, 1,000. Yep. Okay. And we can do take profit at 100%, right? So once we double our money, we want to just cash out, right? And again, it's always helpful to check check the overview down here, right? So again, I'm going to see, I'm going to hopefully, if this comes down to my trigger price, right? Hopefully, I'm going to be able to buy at a price of 69,928, right? Is going to be a position size again of 6,000. I'm sorry, 600. Part of my extra zero there. It'll even give you your fees, your potential liquidation price, right? Which again we won't be getting to, because if it gets to 69,000, we'll be cashed out before then anyway. But if I wanted to go ahead and push this through, now, unlike the last example, when we executed the trade, it just came up right into our active trades tab here. This one, once it's done processing, give it a little extra gas here. Oh, there we go. Never mind. So you'll see this one. Close that out. So this one's an open limit order. It's waiting, right? You can always come back here. It will stay open until you close it. Same way you can, if you decide that you don't want to take this trade anymore, you can always go ahead and just close it here with the little close icon. And again, once this trade does trigger, right? So if the price does come down to 69, what did I do? 69,900 here, right? Once it does execute, it will automatically show up in your open trades, and then just repeat the same process as before.